I don't seem to be feeling very well.
He's turning into sand! Everyone get out now!
That's impossible!
Am I stupid? Mommy said I was stupid and Daddy died because of me, and it's all my fault.
As the pain evaporates from above, from beneath, the name of the soul I claim is Keith.
You have to learn, and I have to teach you. You should not lie to your mom. You must take your punishment.
You'll get yours one day. You'll get what you deserve.
I don't make threats, I make promises, so you better take your 2 air balloons and get lost.
He will be the one who brings my demise.
It's gonna be alright, everything's gonna be okay. Just got it! It's alright, just calm down.
Allow me to be the conductor of pain. Let all transfer, let all leave, let all be free.
Mason got a hold of them, however. You would only need to take 3, and he would die within a day.
All evil is man-made, and evil surrounds that house. The Purgatorians are close, and one is close to them.
You are under arrest on suspicion of animal cruelty and slaughter. Take the 3 of them away.
No! Johnny, quickly! Jamie, he's not breathing! I think he's dying!
Hello then, and welcome to the first creative podcast for the Purgatorians. My name is Paul Ornsby, the creator, director, scriptwriter and editor for the show. You name it, I do it, except voice act. In these podcasts, I'll keep you updated with as much as I can about the show, with as little spoilers as possible. I'm going to try not to spoil anything for you. This is what will be happening. I'll be giving you little snippets of teasers in some of the podcasts, not this one. This is only a first one, we're still in pre-production, which I'll get to shortly. Some messages from the cast will come as well in future podcasts, once again not in this one, but they will come. And official release dates when available. It is a while away yet, as I say, pre-production. But I am hoping to get it to you as soon as possible, which I will go into later. I might be bringing it sooner than I thought. Now, I always want to be honest and upfront with the viewers and fans of the show, if they ever get any. I hope they do, because this is costing a hell of a lot of money to make. I've got no time for fakeness or egos or anything like that. I try to work as a team, so to say, rather than anything else. So I'm not going to lie to you at all in these podcasts. If there's anything you want to know, let me know. If there's anything you want me to speak about in another podcast, let me know. I'd be more than happy to do it. Now, there's no set date for these podcasts yet, so not weekly, monthly, yearly, whatever. But they'll come as and when. If I get enough people saying they want me to talk about this certain thing in a podcast, I will. If I have more news to bring you, I'll bring you another podcast. But as of right now, there's no set date whatsoever at all, I'm afraid. If you want them regularly though, you're going to have to let me know. And as I say in the comments, you're going to have to give me talking points, what you'd like to hear me talk about, things like that. So please don't hesitate to do so. I'd love to read your comments and I'd be more than happy to give you what you want, as long as you don't want spoilers. You're not having spoilers, I'm afraid. No, don't ask. Now, I want to go to the pre-production stage first. This will let you know how early in development the show is, and it is very early, extremely early. We're moving slowly out of pre-production though, very slowly. There's some lines coming in now, some cast interview questions, stuff like that. We are, however, still casting some characters, and pre-production will not end until August the 1st, unfortunately. So, what is happening is the first round of casting begins on June the 1st. I don't know when this is going live, maybe that's gone, maybe it's not. But June the 1st, 12 people are getting cast, July the 1st, another 12, and then August the 1st, the rest of them are getting cast. I'm doing it like this because when I first started the project back in 2015, I'll touch on that later, but when I first started this in 2015, people were complaining I never gave them enough time to audition or anything like that. So I did originally set it up to, because I was casting so fast, that is, I'll just say, but I was getting so many good characters in, I honestly were. But since people were complaining about it, I thought, when I set it up now, I'm going to set it up for 3 months, give people 3 months to audition. No one can complain then. You've got 3 months, that's time to prepare. But I wanted to get lines brought in. I honestly did. So I decided to change the auditions into rounds. So the ones that have had the most best auditions, they will be looked into. I have got some ideas who's coming. We've got a fantastic group of people auditioning, we honestly have. But yes, the ones that have had the most best auditions, they will be cast first. The ones that need more auditions because they've barely had any or something like that, or many good ones or anything, because I've got some that's had no auditions at all, but they will be cast July 1st, just to give time to people to get to them. The main character won't be cast until July 1st, and then the last one will be those who are not getting any auditions at all. I really need those filling, because this is not AI voicing, this is all real cast voicing, real voice artists voicing the characters. So yes, people like Mason won't be cast until August the 1st, because he is a 6-year-old child and there's no children on Casting Call Club, so it's very hard to cast that one. I can only put one child in the show due to this, unfortunately. Now, as I said, we're slowly moving out of pre-production. There's some lines coming in, well, there will be shortly, should I say. They're not coming in right now, depending when this goes live. I'm thinking this is going live late May. Well, for Patreon members it'll be probably tomorrow after recording this, but late May for everybody else. But as I say, every single voice actor is paid. No AI, that is important, I want you to know that. Now, at the moment, all that I have scripted is up to Season 1, Episode 15, as well as some Anthology episodes as well, which I'll touch upon later. Now, the reason why I stopped on Season 1, Episode 15 is something happened in my past that caused me to lose all my work, all my belongings, everything like that, so I had to start from scratch almost. I found all 15 scripts, thankfully, but I want to see how the cast sound before I continue on. Do I need to make any changes to them, things like that, because I'd rather make the changes now rather than getting like up to season 3. That's going to be a nightmare if I do that. But I'll also be speaking about why the show will be moving on so slowly to begin with. So I do want to stress it will be very slow going to begin with. It honestly will. I'm not going to lie about that. It's going to be very slow. But believe me, this is so much more expensive to make than the normal audio drama you see on YouTube. Now, I will get to that, and you will be shocked at how much this costs. Honestly, you will. I was, when I worked it out. Now, once we have the cast in full, that's 37 characters, how many other audio dramas do you hear with 37 characters in it? Unless it's like a normal radio play, bigger budget, should I say, than I've got. Yep, they might have loads of characters in, but 37 characters for a YouTube or Twitter, X, or Facebook, Patreon, audio drama. No, it's going above and beyond that. But we'll start to be able to move forward once all of them are cast fully. As I say, it'll be slow going to begin with because I've got so many people to pay with so little money to do so. So I'll touch on that later, as well as how you can help fund it. But I'll only be able to create at the moment with my funds one show every 2 or 3 months. So unfortunately, that's how slow it's going. One episode, that is, not just like one season. Now, that's why it's going to take so long for the first episode to go live. I will touch upon later my changes I've made for this. I hope you're looking forward to those. But yes, I have made some changes to bring it earlier to you. I am trying to gain some interest in the Purgatorians, giving you the teasers, character introductions, and 2015 and 2024 cast interviews before the show goes live, way before the show goes live. I think these started in May 2024, so earlier this month as of recording this, and they will continue up until late 2025 if I keep it on the fortnightly basis, or maybe even into 2026. Hopefully I can keep it going until the show is ready to go live. I do have a go live date. I'm not saying it yet. I will say that at later on. But please, because I have to do this so slowly, take that with a grain of salt right now. That could change. It could slip into the next year. So I can't promise you exactly, but I will try. I promise you I will try to get it out in time, that is. But I honestly do hope you enjoy it when the full audio drama goes live. I will be giving you a warning about that, but about the show itself, but it's, well, I don't mean to blow my own trumpet, but it's very good. It is. I will be doing a roadmap segment on this later to give you the ideas of how things are going to work when it comes to the show going live and stuff like that. So that's the bit you need to look out for the things I said I'd touch upon later. So now onto the show itself. The cast were supposed to be giving you their thoughts. This is the 2015 cast of the story and themes, as well as the characters. Things like that. I think it's 6 questions that they were asked. They were asked a lot more in the full interviews, but 6 questions that I took out of it. And they were supposed to be going on a fortnightly rotation with the previews and the character introductions that you're getting. Unfortunately, Epidemic Sound decided to send me an email saying that they're changing over their library of sound effects, and I'd used a lot in the sound effects for the previews, for the character introductions, that is. So I was now limited on time. Desperately. I had until December the 12th, I did think it was 24th, but they corrected me saying it was the 12th, to use every single episode I had scheduled. I'd scheduled up until 2025 at this point, May 2025, but they said that if I don't use the sound effects, the shows that I'd produced with the sound effects in them, the current ones, then they would be claimed. All done before then won't be claimed, but those ones would. So I had to change it from the fortnightly rotation, I'm afraid, and do the character introductions all in one go. So from May until I think it's November, you will be getting the character introductions up until part 13. It did start on part 0 for the prequel. So please, if you do watch them in order from part 0, because they do form the bulk of the first episode. Now, at the end of the 13 parts, well, 14 including the prequel, but at the end of those parts, it will be getting a full, all put together character introductions. It'll still have the songs on and stuff like that. Do take note of the songs though, because the songs weren't just chosen haphazardly. They were chosen with care. It gives you a bit more insight into the character, or it gives you further information, well, clues, should I say, further clues of the show itself. Now, the story revolves around a character called Jamie Atkinson. The first season does anyway. He just gets into his bed one night and goes to sleep, and then wakes up outside this strange city in a whole world that he don't even know of. It's never heard of, we've never heard of, no one's ever heard of. So, yes, he appears here, he doesn't know how, he doesn't know why, and all he wants to do is get back home and tries to enlist help to do so. Now, the problem is, he fits the description of the hero of prophecy who will lead to the downfall of the Council of Five, who, I will say, 4 of them are as corrupt as hell, really corrupt. They are not the people you would want as politicians. They are worse than any dictators out there. Well, I say worse, there's one I can think of. But yes, they are worse than any dictators out there. And they are not to be messed with, they honestly aren't. And there's the leader of the Purgatorians as well, who's the Liberator, called Demetrius, and his right-hand man Tobias. Now, the Purgatorians are people in the asylum, they are stuck in the asylum, and the Liberator and Tobias are trying to amass an army of souls. They are claiming people's souls to take over this land, so it's their mission to rule this land, kill anyone who gets in the way. So, yeah, they are one of 2 of the main, well, I say 2, 1 or 2 groups of the main villains in this, them and the Council of 5. So, basically, you've got maybe 6 villains running throughout the first season. Now, what Jamie doesn't know is that it appeared into a world of deception and betrayal. Think Game of Thrones. You know, people nicey and the next minute you can get stabbed. Now, that will more come into play from season 2, all the deception and betrayal, but because season 1 is setting up the characters, giving you some storylines, some meaty storylines, before they want to start throwing all the other stuff at you. I don't want to make it so convoluted that you don't know what the hell's going on anymore. Now, the worst of it, and yep, that isn't the worst what I've mentioned so far. The worst of it is he's appeared there 10 years into the cycle. Now, the cycle is not a thing you want to be a part of. Not at all. What happens is, every 15 years during the night of Christmas Day, most life gets wiped out due to a sandstorm that hits the land, and the world falls silent until New Year's Day. There's a few handful that survive. It will tell you a bit in the lore video, the prequel episode that I did. It will touch upon that, but yes, once those bells ring in a new year, that cycle starts ticking all over again. So yep, they get 15 years to populate this world and then get wiped out. So it's up to Jamie to figure out the reasons behind these sandstorms. Not just Jamie, mind you, the team, he don't just work alone, as well as try to survive. They all need to survive. Believe me, it's not a show, like I said, Game of Thrones, you can see what kind of deaths this is going to get. But he has to save everyone, his friends, even his enemies, and all the new people who arrive from their ultimate fate, and that will be to die by this sandstorm. The prequel episode does show you what the sandstorm does to them, so if you haven't given it a listen, take a listen now. The church scene after and before the narrator's bits, that will give you an insight as to how deadly this sandstorm is.
Christmas, a time of happiness, a joyous occasion. Children opening their gifts. parents observing their smiles. The snow covers the ground, snowmen standing newly created. Each and every home spending its final week of the year covered with decorations. As night falls, people ready themselves for the yearly traditional Christmas night mass. Both the religious and atheists join together, one giving thanks to God, the other to the leaders of this good city. Time never stands still, always flowing, moving constantly from one second to the next. That is, until this one night, time would stop for these people forever. Midnight strikes. The bells ring, and the Reverend ends his sermon.
It is time to bring this joining to an end. Think not that this is a time to part in different ways, but a new way of joining together. Every one of you is unique. Every one different, however. Each and every one has one thing in common: life. Life goes on, and we must all be thankful for this gift we have all received. With that, I wish you all a very good night, and
He's in some sort of pain.
I'm sorry about that. Good night to you all, and I hope.
What's happening? Is he all right? Should we do something?
I don't seem to be feeling very well.
We've got to get the fuck out of here now!
Somebody do something!
Follow me!
A sandstorm rages outside. Those who stayed home were no longer there. Those in the streets had vanished. The only hopes for those still inside the church were dissolving quickly, and their lives would soon be over.
Somebody make it stop, please!
The door won't move! It's stuck!
Help, please! Somebody help!
Who the hell do you think's gonna hear you? We're all in here!
What do we do? What do we do?
Just wait a minute, I'll get them open! Damn it! Damn it! Push it down! Will someone please get here to shut the fuck up now?
It's gonna be alright, everything's gonna be okay. Just now.
Got it!
It's alright. Just calm down.
All bodies crumble, one by one at a rapid pace, as the screams of pain and horror fall silent, and the land is covered with sand. Silence befalls the city. The sandstorm ends, and only one emerges from the depths below his home. Every 15 years, alone once more, the prophecy's close. The one shall arrive before the next storm, hair flaming red,
an ordinary boy shall uncover the truth and put an end to it once and for all. However, my time here will then end. I should not dwell on it. People can live in peace, and the prophecy shall be fulfilled.
Ever since time began, here people come, people die. Every 15 years, a sandstorm hits the land of Serenisha, claiming the lives of everyone except for a small group of people. One of those is the overseer, Abraham Montgomery. He survives each and every one of these destructive forces. The reason, I know not. The second is Raven Goss. It matters not whether she is locked away or out in the open. She survives. The reason for this, I know not. It is said a boy of flame-red hair shall arrive in our land, and the beginning of the end shall occur. It is unclear whether this is the end of life complete, or the end of the sandstorms. Best case scenario is this is the end of the Purgatorians. The Purgatorians dwell within the old asylum, claiming people to do their bidding, turning them against their loved ones, killing, slaughtering, and adding to their ever-growing army of darkness. They are untouched by the sandstorms that decimate this land. It is thought, though not confirmed, that these are the people who create the sandstorms to decimate the population whom they do not deem worthy to join them. It is up to the boy to find the truth amongst lies, the trust amongst betrayal, and finally put an end to the new arrival's ultimate demise. They say it is better to kill the few to save the many. The prophecy says many will die, but it will secure the future. However, the prophecy is unclear and does not have an end. Only 2 people know, and these 2 cannot discuss anything of this. The truth must be uncovered by the citizens with no aid from those too knowledgeable. This could have dire consequences, and so the truth must be uncovered alone.
Now, I will go back to the Council of 5 and tell you a little bit more about them. One of them, Abraham, wants what's best for their citizens, but unfortunately he wants to survive too. If the prophecy holds true, he'll be taken down as well as the other 4 council members, and they'll all die. They'll all meet their demise. Now, the other 4 members are not so nice. In fact, I'd go so far as to say they're very sadistic, cold-hearted killers. They'll kill, maim, set people up to take the fall if they deem anyone to be a threat. These are not people to be trifled with whatsoever. They're not the people you want to cross. They're not the people you either want to talk to. You speak to them, that's it. They can be plotting your downfall immediately. To say Abraham and the other 4 council members don't get on, chalk and cheese, it's an understatement. It honestly is. One wants what's best for his citizens, but also wants to keep himself alive, and the others just want to live and keep their status, and they'll do anything to keep it. They will. Going back to the Purgatorians, they live in the old asylum. They cannot be killed by the sandstorms. I can't tell you why. Spoilers. But they can't be killed by the sandstorms. They're locked away, safely away from these storms. They can't be touched by them. But they are far away from the other towns and cities. However, that doesn't stop them from getting there. It doesn't stop them from attacking. It doesn't stop them being infiltrated. Something will happen later on, which I'm hoping you'll find as a what the hell moment with an infiltration. Hopefully you do. That's a tiny little spoiler there, but it was very vague. But they're very cruel and vicious, and they'll do anything to claim the souls of the victims to join this ever-growing army to take over the world. I want to touch a little upon the 2 henchmen, so to say. Well, the leader and his protege. The leader, as I said, is called the Liberator, and his right-hand man's called Tobias. The Liberator stays in the asylum, making plans, keeping the others in line, so there can't be any coup or something like that. Let's just say he rules with an iron fist, pain, torture, things like that. He will do anything to break them down and shape them back up to his way of thinking to take over the world. Not much touching upon that in the first season, a lot more in the second, believe me. Now it's from his mind that leads to the trail of death and destruction, so you can see what kind of a dark mind he's got, how far he will go to get these lands. And then there's Tobias, completely different. Well, I say completely different, he still wants to take over the lands, but he doesn't stay in the asylum. He goes out, he gets on the ground, basically doing all the groundwork. He wants to see the Purgatorians thrive, he wants to see the Purgatorians win, and he will claim as many souls as possible to do this. Now, the way he does it is by offering people their wishes. He will relieve their pain, make them wealthy, give them power, things like that. A lot of people aren't selfish in the lands, but they will do things to help their loved ones. They honestly will. He'll do anything in his power to make this happen, but he only gets 1 minute to intervene at the end. If they try to back out at the very last minute, he's got the power to kill them, claim their soul that way, put them in so much pain that they relinquish their soul. He will do anything to get them, and you will find that out in the first season. Now, he sees the Liberator as his mentor, he's really looked after him, he's the second in command to take over, third in command, Raven second in command, but third in command to take over. Raven is completely different to the Liberator. She's completely different. She'd rather heal and help people rather than kill them. So it's chalk and cheese aspect going on there as well. Unfortunately for the Liberator, but not unfortunately for Tobias, because he hopes to take over the asylum one day. There are many other characters scattered about, and they all do have a story to tell. They're not just background characters. They won't be there in Season 1, Episode 2, and then all be killed off before the first season ends. No, there's going to be quite a few deaths in the first season, but I don't want to go all out and kill everybody. I don't want to just leave a handful of people. I want to tell a lot of stories. The only way I can do that is by having a lot of characters. Now, what and where is Serenisha? That's how you spell it. That's how you pronounce it, Serenisha. I was pondering about Serenatia or Serentia. Serenisha. Sorry. Bloody, I couldn't even say it myself then. Serenisha. So, what and where is Serenisha? Why are the Purgatorians so set on death and destruction? Is the Liberator truly evil, or does he have more motivations behind what he does? Who can be trusted? Can the sandstorms be stopped? All those questions and more will be answered during the run of the show. Now, like I said, I've always likened this to Game of Thrones, but it's got a touch of Wayward Pines in there as well. I don't know if you remember Wayward Pines. It was on quite a while ago. I don't know if it's still going or not. But it holds the mystery of Wayward Pines, as well as the betrayal and dark storylines. The dark storylines. They are dark. If you're going to take offence by anything, please don't watch it. If you don't like the Game of Thrones storylines, stay clear. I beg of you. But it has the storylines of Game of Thrones. No character's safe, no matter age or gender. Believe me, they are not safe. I'm going to give you a little bit of information now. Although I've only scripted Season 1, Episode 15 up to now, I do have Season 3 finale in my head. I was going through some music sheet yesterday, and I tell you, there were some music as the cast's voice were going through my head, well, the cast that I envisioned. I was close to tears, honestly were. I mean, I hadn't scripted that part yet, but the words were really flowing to my mind. And beware Season 3 finale. Beware. You might even hate me after that finale. You might turn off and never watch again. But anyway, I'm going to move off from that before I give too many spoilers out for it. Maybe you forget by the time that comes. Maybe you won't. But as I said, I'm going to say it again, there's some very, very dark storylines in this show. So, it's definitely not a puppies, kittens and rainbows show. It's not woke. It's nothing like that. Yes, you got some bisexual and gay characters in there, but it's not woke as the world tends to be nowadays, I might even get cancelled. And you might not even get to see it after a certain episode. But as I said, if you do not like storylines from Game of Thrones, if they're too hard hitting for you, do not watch it. I'm warning you now, do not watch it. If you do like Game of Thrones and the storylines, watch it. It might be the show for you. You can listen to it while you're working away at something else, doing your housework, having tea, something like that. I mean, it will have subtitles on. I will do it like the character previews. The cast interviews won't have subtitles, I'm afraid. I'm very limited with time. I've got so much to do. But I do subtitle the main shows, and we'll be subtitling something else, which I'll get to later. The anthologies, that is, by the way. Now, do take note that the storylines are not thrown in for shock value whatsoever. They do develop other storylines, or they'll lead into new storylines, or something like that. So, yeah, nothing's thrown in for shock value. And I do also want to say in advance that the show is a work of fiction. I can't believe I have to say this, but the show is a work of fiction, and any medical advice or diagnosis given throughout the show and anthology episodes shouldn't be treated as fact. I will repeat that, should not be treated as fact. There is some medical stuff inside it. Some have drawn upon real life experience, others have had to research on the internet. By the time it goes live, things could have changed, or what I read could have been wrong. So please, 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 if you have any medical issues or symptoms of what is in the show, please don't use it as self-diagnosis. I beg of you. I'll speak about how the seasons work in the roadmap section later in this video, but first I want to touch upon the spin-off show that I keep mentioning about. It will tie directly into the main show. It's called Purgatorians Anthologies. What these will be are standalone stories focused on one of the main or secondary characters of the show. At the moment I've got 30 in mind, however these can increase. Characters are coming in all the time, so yep, this number can increase. They are all prequel stories about how the characters arrived in these lands, these strange lands. Not only Jamie appeared in these lands like that, everyone who lives here, well, mostly everyone should I say who lives here, all got here in the same way Jamie did. And none of them know how, none of them know why, but they just give up and stop looking for a way home, all seems lost, and they just make a life for themselves. But yes, these anthology shows will give you a little bit of insight into the characters as they live their normal everyday lives, but the shows do have one thing in common. Every single one of them has one thing in common. I can't say what it is yet because it will spoil the entire plot of the show, but you don't have to wait until the finale episode to find this out. I do want to add that some of the episodes of the anthology shows have a set theme. Now, this is not what we were talking about before, where they all have one thing in common. This is a theme that runs throughout the show for that episode. It will kind of give you, some of them might give you the chills, some of them might stir up some bad memories. I do apologise if you do, but I do advise you to take a look at what is being donated to, just to give you a little sense of what the episode's about before you watch it. Because I'm going to make a promise to you now, to myself as well, and to the cast, and to all the viewers listening to this, that the shows that do follow certain themes, I can't say what the themes are yet, but you'll know when they come, will have money donated to a charity associated with this theme. This is why I say check the charity beforehand to give you an idea what the storyline is going to be like. So I will say one episode is a Alzheimer's episode. So what will happen is all the extra donations from that episode will get given to dementia research or Alzheimer's research or something like that. At first it'll only be the super thanks and things like that if I don't get cancelled, that is. But yes, it'll all be the super thanks and stuff like that for that episode. However, if the show does do well enough as a whole, not just that episode, if the show does well enough as a whole, that's to pay for the cast, to pay for the entire upkeep of the show, the cast, musicians, singers, my survival costs, not luxuries. I'm not talking about luxuries here. I'm not talking about video games or DVDs or anything like that. I'm on about survival needs such as bills, rent, food, hygiene products, stuff like that. I know that's supposed to class hygiene products as a luxury, but I don't. But yes, if it does do well enough, I promise each and every one of you now that every single bit of money that episode brings in will be given to charity, I promise you. There'll be 5 seasons of the show, each one starting from the following year, leading up to the cycle's end. So Jamie steps in episode at the end of the 10th year, and that'll lead up to the 15th year cycle, and there's 5 Christmas specials as well. The Christmas specials will be longer the shows. I'm looking about maybe an hour to an hour and a half for these. The shows were originally going to be 45 minutes, but apart from the first one, which was a feature-length special. But then I dropped them down to 30 minutes because I needed to get work done on the show and things like that. I really needed to move it along. But I am going to move it back up to 45 minutes. I did originally tell the cast I was paying them by paid per finished hour. I changed that to per script. That put their prices up, their payments up. So I'm putting the shows back up to 45 minutes to balance this out. And hopefully to give you more storylines as well. And to keep them coming. I will touch up more on how the seasons will work and how the anthology shows will fit in and stuff like that in the roadmap section. So if you're interested, that's where that'll be. But right now, I really do want to touch on how expensive this show is to make. I alluded to this earlier. I'm going to tell you now. It's much more, as I said, than a normal audio drama. I mean, what would you say for a normal audio drama? Maybe 1,000? Maybe up to 5,000 to create a normal audio drama if you're buying licensed tracks, hiring a lot of cast and stuff like that. Nope. Much more than that, I'm afraid. As I said earlier, the cast are all real paid voice actors, no AI whatsoever. I do want to keep stressing that. I do not want to add AI into the show whatsoever. But I do want to add original music at some point, although to begin with it will be licensed, as well as original sound effects, and once again they'll be licensed to begin with as well. I have just joined Licked, that will give me access to some actual songs, some famous songs. I'm hoping to use these as credits and scene changes. Hopefully I can. Well, only time will tell, but with Patreon, which I'll speak of earlier, I won't be able to put them there, I'm afraid. You'll have to have the original versions, but it'll be ad-free and early access for you. So there is that. I do apologise about that, but Patreon is not in the description, I'm afraid, of the licensing. Now, at this moment in time, every season, not including the anthology shows or Christmas specials, not the cast interviews and other extras, optional extras that is, by the way, that cast don't have to do that, but they are paid for it just for the voice actors alone for one season. Brace yourself, guys. Brace yourself. It is costing, and this is at the very least now, because I've increased the number of episodes as well, I calculate this out before increasing the episodes, £30,000 per season. And that is just for the voice cast. No music, nothing like that, not the subscription costs I have to have or anything. That is for the voice cast alone for one season. Yep, I call it a big budget audio drama, if you will. I'm trying to make this the best I can, and it is costing me. It is. But if you add on top of this musicians, singers, Foley artists, the anthology shows, Christmas specials, and all the optional extras that will be paid for, once again, this is minimum worked out before actually increasing the number of episodes, £45,000. Yep, and you heard right. So if you're going to tell me to get a real job, Tell me how many veal jobs require that amount of commitment. That's rounded down, by the way, as well. It was, I think, about 45,300 and something, or something like that. I can't remember the exact amount, but it is rounded down, but that is the minimum it is going to cost. But as I said, I would love to hear, if you know of any, please put them in the comments below to let me know. I'd love to hear of any audio drama on YouTube that's cost that much to make. If they have, I'd love to listen to them, see what kind of quality they bring, things like that. As I said, I would say mostly £5,000 maximum for the others on YouTube. If it even gets to that, maybe even half, quarter, less. I am passionate about this though, I really am. I'm dedicated. It's been my dream since 2015 to see this project get off the ground when I first started scripting it. But why 2015? Well, you'll notice some of the 2015 cast interviews coming up at some point later this year. I think the first one is late November. It'll be the 2015, then it will go to the 2024 cast, as well as some more previews thrown in as well. I originally started this project back then, in 2015, started writing it. I did kind of rush into it. I think I'd got the 12th script written by the time I started casting. I've rushed into it now as well, but yeah, I should have really got the first 3 seasons done to begin with. But after what happened, something did happen that drove me away from it, something terrifying that made me lose all my stuff. So unfortunately, things didn't go to plan back then. But I did have the whole of the first season cast. They were fantastic voice cast, I loved them to bits. Some of them's returned, such as Faith Parker, Betsy Turner, Eliza Hamilton and Glenn Taylor. Oh, and now Tamara Wakefield has returned as well. Yay! I've got some of the old cast back. Abraham Montgomery is considering it if I cannot find anybody else. But we have got a famous, well, I say famous, is she famous? I'm not quite sure, but she's called Evan Connor. She is a Australian actor, been in quite a few things. I looked at her reel, she's fantastic. I love her to bits. We're in talks. Got quite a lot of other voice actors who are currently auditioning, and one of them are looking through the scripts called Lawrence Sterling Knott. He's fantastic as well. He'll bring a lot to the show, he honestly will. The problem is nowadays people are so cautious about these kind of shows, especially the more bigger stars. Well, I say bigger stars, I'm not talking AAA AAA stars here, I can't afford those. But yes, people do frown upon it. There are some storylines in this that they do not want to be connected with. I had a fantastic actor who said she could voice a 6-year-old boy. I gave her the storyline and she won't take part in it. Nope. But I want to keep this dark. I don't want this woke. Honestly, I don't want this woke. We've got too much of that in this world nowadays. Hate me if you will. Now, when I was a kid back in the 80s, you could get a smacked bottom as a child for discipline. It wasn't abuse. I mean, you don't punch them in the face or stuff like that. No. Don't go that far. But yeah, you could say something to someone. If you offended them, you might have got a punch on the nose. Not nowadays. No, well, I don't want to get into that. No, you don't need my stances on this kind of thing. But yes, I'm going to try not to make it woke at all. You got my promises on that. But yes, back to this. I went on a bit of a rant there. There's a few more returning cast members, but most of them are new. I did want the person who voiced Mason to return. She was called Lyra Morris Clark. Well, I think it's Lyra Morris Clark, as they said, No, I think it's actually Lyra Morris Clark, as they said in the cast interview. But they had the perfect voice for Mason, they honestly did, but unfortunately I got no reply from them. I did originally tell them the paper finished our rate, never heard anything back. I got back in touch with them to tell them it had changed to per script, and I offered to put it up to £50 per script for them, even if they only had few lines. Heard nothing back. You got to think, £50 per script times 36 episodes. I know it's still below standards. I can't afford. I'm not rich at all. I'm quite poor. But yeah, you've got to think that is still below industry standards. But £50 times 36, work it out, it's a lot of money. But even after offering to increase the pay, I heard nothing back. Yeah, I do want to give you a little bit of history of how we got here today, and what sparked the passion back up and things like that for the show. Now, as I said, something happened to me. I'm not going to go into it here, but it was a terrifying ordeal. It caused me to lose my home, all my belongings, forced the show into cancellation, made me homeless. I just had to flee, basically, or my life was in danger. But yes, I thought the show was cancelled, but I was wrong. One day in 2024, I was feeling guilty about leaving the cast members in the dark about what happened. One day I was constantly communicating to them. Every day they'd get an email, or every other day. Then all of a sudden it stopped. And I felt really, really bad about it. I've never stopped feeling guilty about that. I mean, in a way it wasn't my fault. I had to flee. But unfortunately there was no way to get in touch with the cast after that happened. I lost all the stuff, all the contact details, everything. I didn't think of checking Casting Call Club or going back to my old emails once I managed to get myself secure again, but I thought I had lost everything. But as I said, I'd always felt guilty about it, and even to this day I still feel guilty about it, but on a certain day it really overtook me. Don't know what happened. I was just sat here doing my own stuff, and then I couldn't stop thinking about it, about the cast, how perfect they were, about the show. So it made me feel a little sad, and I started pining about it. So I started putting the 2015 cast interviews together. These were, like, the full ones are already on the channel, the Purgatorians. Don't subscribe to the Purgatorians. That's no longer being used. That's my main watching channel. Only subscribe to this one, please. Yeah, I was putting them together, just cutting them down into one question forms, just for my own personal use, just to rekindle the past. Just so I had the memories there in vocal form, basically. Now, it did sadden me when I was putting them together and listened back. I just couldn't help thinking what I'd lost, what I had. It was really taking me, but I really wanted to do this. I wanted to remember this good time, this show that I really wanted to put together. So after I did that, I started looking for the old emails, just to rekindle more of those memories, what we spoke about and things like that. And lo and behold, I found all 15 scripts on an email, all in PDF form, mind you, but all these scripts I thought were lost for good. I don't know what made me stumble upon them, what made me go back. I mean, I'd never even thought about going back to these cast emails before then. I absolutely forgot about them, but it was like something in my head saying to look for them. I still had some knowledge of the characters and storylines, but I thought the inconsistency would be ruined if I started from scratch, or that the characters that I'd already created kind of mould into each other, merge into one, creating more inconsistency issues. So unfortunately, I didn't want to do it like that, and if I never found these scripts, I'm promising you now, I'm telling you now, I don't think I would have done it. I wouldn't have continued. I would have just been pining after those days. So I downloaded all 15 scripts and continued scrolling, and there was my old editing software, well, the old script writing software. I'd done some pricing up on script writing software recently when I was thinking about starting it up again before finding the scripts, and they were north of £200 each for the professional stuff. But yes, it were there. My old script writing software, my username, my activation code. It were like fate were calling to me, it honestly was. Now, I'm hoping it was calling to me because I was onto a good thing, people will really enjoy it. I do have a good imagination. I don't want to blow my own horn here, but I really, really do have a good imagination. So, I'm hoping that can come through to you, through the storylines. I mean, it's like one person in the cast interview says, if you don't like one episode, come back to another and you will find something that you really like. You will. And another one, and she also said, or was this another one? Every time you think someone's not going to push that button, someone pushes that button. That's what the kind of thing you're looking for. Anyway, back to this. I've got on a rant again, I'm sorry. But now I'd found the scripts and the software, the fire really, really went wild inside me. My thoughts were all over the place, like, wow, I can get this started again, I can do this. My head was going 10 to the dozen. Excitement, joy, everything you can think of, every positive emotion you can think of. But it did have a bit of dread as well, like what happens if I don't find the cast? What happens if no one wants to take part? Things are a lot different in the world nowadays. I'm not going to go back on this rant, but they're a lot different back on in these days than they were in 2015. But I could make my dream in reality again, and I was dedicated and passionate about it, and I wanted to do it. So I set up the Casting Call Club profile yet again, paid the yearly subscription, which is not cheap, £100 I think it was, £130, I think it's $120. And then I got to work on setting up the roles and auditions and synopsis, payment details, stuff like that. It does take a while to do this. I think it took me an entire day to set all this up. I did get praised about this in the last cast interviews. I just want to say, I do tell the people in the cast interviews to be honest. I do put it in the notes. I will put it up here, exactly what I say, the actual script. Well, not script, the questions and the rules of these cast interviews. I will put it up here and I will show you that I do tell them this is not just being added in. I'll show you PDF format as well, that'll be the finished product, just so you know. But I do tell them that they must be honest, say whatever they like, the roles are safe, they are not going to be cast out or treated any differently because they told the truth. I would rather them tell the truth rather than, you know, oh, this guy is great, this guy is fab. No, I don't want that. Just because I'm creating the show and scripting it doesn't mean we're not a team. We're all a team. Not one of us is less equal or more equal than the others, in my opinion. We're all as important to this show as each other. Now, I did get quite a few complaints to begin with about the paper finished hour that I set it up with. I did listen to them and change it to per script, but I was still getting comments complaining about the paper finished hour, even though I'd told them that I changed it to the script. So I deleted all those comments, put a reason in as to why, telling them that I'd changed it. I did have complaints, but no one was listening to me. So to prevent any further confusion, I deleted those comments. I don't normally delete comments, I honestly don't, but in this instance, I felt it was for the best. But after that, I emailed the 2015 cast in the hopes, these were big hopes, fingers crossed, everything crossed, toes, nipples, everything. I was hoping that some of them still had their old email addresses, and you gotta think this is almost 9 years ago. People change emails every now and again. I mean, a lot do keep them, you know, hassles change over, but I was thinking, are they going to have them? Maybe not. So I don't expect many to come back to me, if any at all. But I explained myself to them, gave them a sincere apology, and to my amazement, some got back in touch with me and agreed to return. I was over the moon. This casting that I had was coming back. Now, unfortunately, Kimberly Hamilton, that was Lizzie Plant, she is ghosting me. She's not coming back, well, as of now. I am going to keep her role open until July the 1st. If she hasn't got back to me by July the 1st, I will give it away. Hopefully she does. She was fantastic for the character. She had a lovely voice. But we'll have to wait and see. I would love her back, but can't promise. I had to get this start of casting done. I had to get that rolling, otherwise we won't get nowhere. I'd have no cast. I'd have 4, 5, 6, however many originals agreed to return. I've then set up a Discord link, which will be in the description below. This is for cast and the public. I have got some private channels on for the cast. I've told them not to give spoilers in the chat, in the general chat. I did once. I deleted it and gave myself a timeout in my own server. But not an actual timeout, I can't time out myself, but gave myself an unofficial timeout. But yes, I am terrible at keeping secrets. I may leak 1 or 2 things to you there. But yes, if you are interested in the show or anything like that, or getting in touch with the auditioners, well, that's all we have there right now, auditioners and some cast members. But yeah, if you want to speak to some of the cast or auditioners, that's where they'll be. Well, I can't promise they'll answer you, I can't force them to answer you, but they'll be there, and I'll be there. Now, back to the financial side of this. In 2015, the cast members were only getting £5 per episode. Yep, that's all they were getting. That's all I could afford, unfortunately. But they were committed, apart from the one who voiced Mason, who dropped out after the 3rd episode, I think it was. I was gutted about that. That was just before what happened to me happened. But I was gutted about that, and it would have been hell to be cast again. So that really hit my depression, unfortunately, as well. But that didn't help what happened not long after, because I already had my depression slump on. I do suffer from depression, I do get hit by it now and again. But today, £5, well even back then, £5 is nowhere near industry standards. The cast are now being paid between £20 to £50 per episode, depending on character. Now, there have been some I did offer a pay rise to. The returning cast got £40. The reason for this, I wanted to entice them back. I wanted them first choice on the roles. But yeah, they get £40. The other main and secondary cast get between 20 to 30. And the two that I am in talks with, because they are really fantastic voice actors, experienced, £50 per hour for those two. As I say, it's a hell of a lot, and these are doubled for the feature-length Christmas specials and anthologies as well. So yeah, that puts it up as well. The main cast receive a split of 10% royalties per year. This runs tax year from the UK, April to April. They'll get their split in March of the year. So it's 10% royalties to the cast. This is to make up for the low payments that they get. It's 10% royalties for the main cast. This continues on forever. It's not just the first year or anything like that. It goes on forever. 10% royalties, except the donations, they get took out. The anthologies that have donations, yep, they get took out. The secondary cast also get 5% royalties split between them. Yep, I don't know if I said the main cast split between them, but yep, that is split between them all. The secondary cast, 5% split between them. They have less lines than the main cast, but they have quite a few. They have much more than the side characters, who may only get a few lines. So, in total, and please again, remember this is before I put the episodes up, and this is in total for a season with the anthologies and that, but this is the minimum. I've put the episodes up per season, but yes, 5 seasons, £225,000. Please tell me which audio drama on YouTube costs that much, please, I beg of you. I mean, I'm not saying none of them do, there might be some big productions out there, some big budget ones, but I'd love to know.
A policeman told my mommy he went to heaven. Where was heaven? Could I go and see him?
I'm not here for trouble. I'm looking for a young boy.
Oh, one of those, are you? We don't tolerate your kind here. Anyone harms a kid and I'll...
No. I am not one of those.
Thanks for the information, and I'm sorry about your breasts. Sorry. It doesn't have to be this way. Release her, leave, and there will be no repercussions as long as you never come back.
It is my suggestion to simply call him out one night and slit his throat.
Evil is around. It is everywhere, including our own city. The shouts of anger, screams of a child, it echoes through the night. It bounces off the walls and screeches through the air.
I always suspected something wasn't right about her, but beating her own child, that is twisted.
I'm stuck inside my own head right now, and I cannot see a way out. I get frightened that I might hurt him.
I have had one hell of a day. I really don't need you prolonging it.
The time is nigh. Evil is coming. He is claiming the lives of those who have succumbed to darkness. I shouted my warnings, but they fell upon deaf ears.
We'll never make it there. We'll be killed before we even make it halfway.
The prophecy only mentions you will be killed, not us.
The others should have been crushed up and placed into the sauce I put on Mason's hamburgers. He's taking them now as we speak. He should be dead in the next 5 hours.
But you can help support the show just by liking, sharing the video to others, getting it to as many eyes as possible, or you can join our Patreon page if you want to help fund it, which I'll move on to now. Now, Patreon is the best way to fund the show. I did try to do a Kickstarter, failed miserably, absolutely failed. All I got from comments were people asking about marketing, promotion, stuff like that. Did my head in, never doing another Kickstarter again. But yeah, the best way to fund the show is by Patreon. I do want to make you aware though that as of this moment in time, I will put the tiers up as I go along, but as of this moment in time, these are set to dollars. So it's $5 for the first tier and I get $4 of that. But it will be changing to pounds. I will let people know that it's changed to pounds on Patreon. I will put a post up telling them, giving them time to cancel if they're from America and it costs too much for them to stay. But it was supposed to be pounds to begin with, but when I set up the Patreon page, unfortunately, Patreon never asked me what currency I wanted, so I've got to wait 6 months to change it. Before I get onto the tiers, I do want to let you know that until the show starts, all but Tier 1 will be funding tiers until the show does start. Tier 1 will get the early access and things like that. It'll have content coming to it. All the rest are higher funding tiers. I am going to be making the CD tiers and DVD tiers private until I can get original music on those episodes, fully original music. Unfortunately, because I'm changing over the way I do things, I cannot actually allow downloads of this without getting sued. So yeah, I'm going to have to change that to completely original shows to let the CDs, the physical form tiers, go live. Now these tiers may seem a little steep, but please remember what I said about the costs of making the show. I'm only on benefits at the moment. I've got illnesses and disability. Well, I nearly said disabilities. No, I've only got one disability, but I don't want to be a liar. I don't want to be like that guy in the wheelchair who just said he couldn't walk and then suddenly got up to go to the toilet one day. Miracles happen. I'm not like that. I'm not going to lie to you. I can get up and walk about, but my back can be in so much pain. And then I've got a hell of a lot of mental illnesses, paranoia, anxiety, depression, to name but 3. So I don't have a lot of outgoings, and what I do have is all being put into the show after rent, bills and survival needs are paid for. So this will leave me with possibly £250 a month to put into the show. So all funding is welcome. You will be put into the credits as backers and funders. So yeah, that would all be welcome if you do like the show or you're looking forward to it. If you do join for that though, I would like you to, you'll get a little survey asking you why you want to help the show. If it's for that, put it, I think it's like want to finance the backer or something like that. Choose that one if that's the reason why you're doing it. If not, choose another one that best represents it. But the lowest tier should be on screen right now. That's £5. I'm going to say them in British pounds because that's what they'll eventually be. So that's £5. That'll give you 1 week's early access to all shows and extras, as well as Patreon exclusive Q&As if all tiers as a whole get enough members that makes it physically impossible to work on the show and reply to you all. Now, as a whole, that is all the tiers combined into one. So say I've got 5 in tier 1 and 25 in tier 2, 40 in tier 3. That will be enough to do a Q&A. Well, even the 25 and 10 will be enough to do a Q&A, I think. Now, please keep in mind that as we go up in tiers, they all get the below rewards as well. So they're not missing out on anything. Tier 2 is £10 a month. This will also get you the director's commentary videos as well. These episodes will be uploaded. I'm not sure if I'm going to do the mid-season finale yet or do them in the same week span. Let me know which one you want if you want this, but what will happen is they'll get both the normal episode and the director's commentary episode. That's me giving my thoughts on it, what's happening, why I included this in the scene, as well as a lot more insights. I will be asking people whether they'd like me talking over the episode or if they'd rather pause it to speak. Please let me know that as well, I'd love to know. I'm unsure of which one to do. Maybe I'll do two, one where I'm talking over it and another one where I pause it to give an example. But yeah, I'll let the first one go live on YouTube, but after that it will be a Patreon exclusive. Now people in this tier can also submit their reactions for the episode to me, and I'll link their channel in the description and add them in the credits of a reaction montage video, you know, kind of like Skybound did with The Walking Dead. Now, I can't allow people to put full reactions on their own channels because, like I say, music is licensed from Epidemic Sound, Pond 5, Licked. So, yep, it will have licensed music on there and you could get a claim of a strike, and I don't want that. But yes, I will put you in the reaction montage and I will link your YouTube channel to it. It must follow YouTube's guidelines, by the way. I'm not going to link to a channel that doesn't. So tier 3, this jumps up to £20 per month. This includes the director's commentary as well as cast commentary added onto it as well. So there won't be long moments of silence while you're waiting for me to speak. You'll have other characters, well, other cast members chiming in, speaking of their characters and things like that. I may pause it for this one definitely because there'll just be people talking over each other all the time. But it'll give you a hell of a lot more insight to how the cast perceives their characters, how they perceive the storylines. But I have to charge more for this because I have to pay the cast to record it, I'm afraid. This is £10 more. The cast will be paid, I'm thinking £15 to record commentary. Not all cast will do it, but I'm hoping the majority of people will, so we can get a lot more insights into the show. I mean, I'd love to know the thoughts as well, if I'm honest with you. But you will also get the scripts sent in PDF form the day after every episode ends. So roughly about midnight or midday. I might make it midday just in case videos go out at midnight on this day. So yeah, midday the following day you will get the PDF scripts. Please keep in mind, these are copyrighted. If you try to claim it off as your own or anything like that, I will never strike anybody. But if you try to pass the show off as your own, I really will not be held responsible. I won't. But yes, if you do go careful with the show, by the way, this is going back to the reaction bit. If you want to review it or anything like that on your channel, only use small portions of it. I will not strike it at all. I will not claim it, as long as it's fair use and it links to my channel and the show in the video, the episode in the video. So it has to be my channel and the episode. Do go very careful around the license track, so please, I beg of you. But I will be happy to know of any reviews. Give me an @ in the comments or an @ in the description, and I'd love to watch them, I honestly would. I'll also be getting some of the voice cast to record an exclusive thank you message for the people who take this tier. Now, these will be every season to incorporate new voice casts. You'll get a new one every season, and it'll be an exclusive to tier 3 and above. No other tiers below this will get this. And finally, you'll get an early access trailer, although it'll be short, very short, the day after every episode goes live. Now, what this will be, these will be added onto the previously on the Purgatorians 2 weeks later, but you'll be getting next time on the Purgatorians, so you'll have a little sneak peek at what's coming up next. So the rewards went up quite a bit for those ones. Tier 4 is £35 a month. This will give you the official digit. Now, from this tier, by the way, I just want to add, this is the tier that for here and above, I will have to make private until I've got all these as original music. Once they're original music, I will allow these to go live. But in order to avoid lawsuits or anything like that, I cannot allow the licensed music on these ones, I'm afraid. These will give you the official digital downloads of all the episodes, £35 a month, and Christmas special episodes. I say official because there is a way of downloading them offline. You know, there is programs out there. But if you want to help support the show, I really do honestly ask you to use this one. I honestly do. Please do. Like I say, it costs a lot to make. Please don't try ripping the show off. I beg of you, no pirating or anything like that. But these are just the main shows and Christmas specials, by the way, that are in the month you are subscribed to, with each download being available the day after each episode goes live. As I said earlier though, please make this personal use because of the licenses. I can't be held responsible if you try uploading them and your video's claimed or your channel's given a strike due to licensing issues. As I said, I won't claim them or strike them as long as you make them fair use or only use small portions, and be extremely careful. Just credit us, link the channel, link the video you're referring to, give me an @ and I'll be happy. Tier 5 will be £50 per month. That'll be all the extras, the director's commentary, the cast commentary, the anthology shows, the not Christmas specials, you get those with the other ones. The extras, cast interviews, outtakes, stuff like that. I'd love to know what other extras you'd like. I would love to know that. Please let me know so I can give you more variety. Now, Tier 6, you'll be getting pre-season recaps as well, I'll let you know that. You'll be getting pre-season recaps before the start of the second season. Tier 6 will be £75, so it starts bumping up now, but this is where things get physical, as it says on the screen. All the main shows and Christmas specials will be sent out to you with free shipping, but I do want to warn you, if anyone asks you to give you the details on Telegram, that's a scam. I don't use Telegram. A lot of scammers do. I'm not saying everyone who uses Telegram's a scammer, but that's where most of them come from. So if you're unsure about anything, click the link in the description. Don't look for me on Twitter or X or Facebook. Don't search for me there because there might be people copying me. I will try to take them down if they are for impersonation, but click the link in the description to take you to the official page and DM me there. That's just to keep you safe. I don't want you being scammed. Now, as I say, these will be the main shows in the Christmas special, sent out to you on a CD. I never said DVD, no, that comes later. Sent out to you on a CD. I do have to set a safeguard on this because I can't afford people to join for 1 month to get the CDs and then cancel. So the Patreon tier should be on screen now, so you should be able to see what the safeguard is. I do have to pay for these to be created on top of everything else. It's not included in the costs I quoted earlier. I have looked it up and they're not very expensive. They're a little expensive, but they're not very expensive to do. But yeah, I have to put the safeguard on that to safeguard me, safeguard the show, safeguard you. Well, all those that are doing it fairly, that is. It'd be quite unfair to someone to sub to the channel for 36 weeks. I'm gonna knock that down actually from 36 weeks. Now I've put the amount up. I might put it down to the original 28 episodes. I can't remember what this one says. Is it 26, 28? I haven't got it on in front of me. I've got the script on in front of me right now for this. Well, more or less the notes, but yeah, I've got that in front of me now. If I ever do get original music, and this is full original music, songs and sound effects in all the episodes of a season, these will go on sale eventually. The ones you've got on Patreon, I think, if I remember correctly, I can use Pond 5's music and sound effects in downloads. But as long as I don't sell them as a soundtrack or anything like that, which I do want to do if I get original songs and that, but I can't sell them as a soundtrack or anything like that, but it is got audio over the top of it. So I think I'm allowed to do it like that. That'll be quite a while away yet though. I want to pay all the cash for all the lines first, but you will get exclusive access to these versions. They will be different than the YouTube ones. As I say, YouTube will have licensed songs from Licked. Lawsuits I am avoiding. I am not putting them there. Not on Patreon for downloads. The same rule does apply for these being personal use in Tier 5, as stated in Tier 5, so please, please, please do try not uploading them to avoid a claim or a strike. I beg of you, I honestly do. The tier 7 does cost £100, but the CDs will include everything, the anthologies, the extras, the cast and director's commentaries and stuff like that. Yep, same rules and warning apply as it did in 5 and 6 regarding Telegram, free shipping, uploading them to your channel, having to be a member for a set amount of time, and shows of original music and sound effects going on sale once available. Yep, it goes up in price, but there's quite a few more CDs that I have to pay for to get it out to you. Free shipping still, by the way. Now, tier 8 is the final tier, and it does cost a massive £200 per month. I know that's a lot. If you can afford it, that would really help the show out. But I set it this high as I don't want too many people taking it. If I'm being honest, I didn't want to be seen as using FOMO or the fear of missing out, or being seen as restricting people. It's you all have your own free will. And who am I to stop you from using it? I'm not. No, I can't stop you from using it. Use it all you like, as long as you're not hurting anybody. But not only will you receive the CDs, but you'll also be able to choose between DVD or Blu-ray that contains every single episode, special, anthology and extras from a season, and have the show subtitled on them as they are on YouTube. Please be aware that the cast commentary episodes will only be subtitled with what the cast is saying, not the show itself, as well as there'll be no subtitles on cast interviews, I'm afraid. But the main show, Christmas specials, anthologies will have subtitles. As I say, same rules as 5 to 7 also apply here. If the channel ever got irreparably hacked or taken down, you'll have them in physical form. So, there you go, they'll be yours. Please be aware though that only one season of each will be sent at the same time, and the time you must be a member resets and starts again after these are sent to you. So that's the same with tiers 5 and 7 as well. I did forget to say that. They will reset afterwards. After you get them sent to you, should I say. If there's anything you don't understand, please ask me in the comments. I will try to clear them up for you, I honestly will. But with that, you'll be pleased to know we've got to the end of the funding segment. No more begging. Yay! I mean, yay! I should sound more excited about that for you. Now we'll hit the roadmap. So, how long will this take in reality? As I said in an earlier episode, I don't have a lot of money at all, and the timescales I'm going to be talking about here are without any funding whatsoever, just using my own money. If this does change, I will post another podcast letting you know a new roadmap, and we'll take that changes. I'll do another one letting you know another roadmap. Now, originally we were looking towards a March or April 2028 release date for the first episode. The first season did originally run for 24 episodes and all the rest ran for 28. I have changed this to 36 episodes per season. That's almost 200 episodes of the show. From season 2 and above, it will take a mid-season break at episode 18 if the viewers want it. Well, if the viewers want a mid-season break at that point, or if they'd rather it be split into 3 parts, let me know. I am putting a mid-season break in, but let me know if you'd rather have it in 2 or 3 parts. But what I'm doing is, now please, this could change, but I'm going to tell you, this is my thoughts. In August 2026, I may be putting the first episode live, and what will happen is, I will split the show into 3 parts, so 12 episodes each. They will go live weekly, and then take a break until the next year, and then go live again, and then the Christmas special will come. But I thought about doing it like this because I don't want to wait until 2028 for the first episode to go live. I want to create interest in it. I want people to watch it, to like it. The first part of the first season may turn you away before you even get to it. As I say, Game of Thrones storylines, it does have one hell of a dark storyline running from episode 1 up until episode 12. It does end on that dark storyline, but I'm hoping to bring some interest in with this. That's why I want to bring it earlier, but I also have to balance it out between money and paying the cast, so I have to kind of stagger it a little bit. I honestly do. I'm also thinking of shows to bring after this, even though this hasn't even started properly yet. I mean production, that is. But I am thinking of something to bring, so when we get far enough in the show, I'll be asking you to suggest other shows you'd like. This will end after the Season 5 Christmas special. It will have a definite end, so... Well, I say definite. Yeah, definite end. It has a definite end. So, yes, I don't think I'll be able to move further beyond that point. I think I would have been able to tell all the stories that I've told. I don't want to drag it along and just make it into a drama with nothing happening, basically. I don't want to turn you away from that. I don't want to turn it into Season 8 of Game of Thrones either. I'm going to try to avoid that. I can't promise you. I might fall into it, but I'll try. I'm not going to rush it. Because the show does cost a lot though, I do highly encourage you to like and subscribe to the video, get us noticed, sharing. As I asked earlier, the show needs to be noticed. To begin with, well, I say to begin with, for quite a while, I think my last channel had 2.5 years, no, a year, maybe a year and a half, and I still weren't getting impressions, so I need your help to get the impressions, please. I do. This show can only be a success as long as the viewers make it a success. I do want it to be a success, and I want it to make it worth all the money. You can also leave a great review as well on your channel. Leave a great review of the episode. I would love to hear it. I honestly would. Don't forget to use the fair use policy though, and be wary of the music. I mean, if you've got Epidemic, you can get in touch with me and say, is this Epidemic sound that you've used? Then I could say yes, and then you can use that bit. But do get in touch with me if it has got music, and I'll be able to tell you what it was. But I do love reading and responding to comments as well, so please, please, please leave any comments you've got, and I'd love to answer them. If I get too many, I will do a director's Q&A for you all. I'm not expecting many to begin with. I'm not expecting many at all. But yes, I will do a director's Q&A to answer some, and maybe if you've got any questions for the cast, I'll ask them to answer them. Now, some of the endings are a little messed up for the first 15 episodes. They were going to run for 45 minutes. Apart from the first one, which I mentioned earlier, is a feature-length episode. I did drop them down to 30 minutes, so it did screw up some of the endings. I do apologise about that. I did make sure to keep the season finale ending in place. Yes, it will really, you might hate me after this season, after the first season finale. You might do. From episode 16, all of these should fall back into place, proper endings and stuff like that, so hopefully you can bear through the first 15 episodes. When it moves back up to 45 minutes, the anthology shows themselves will run anywhere between 45 to 90 minutes. I want to make these a bit longer. I can't promise that they all will be above like 90, anywhere near, should I say, 90 minutes. But I'd rather keep the story and character development moving along without adding any unnecessary padding to it. So things that are not important to the story I want to leave out. So we may be looking more around 45 minutes to an hour 10, more realistically, for those episodes. The Christmas specials will also run for roughly an hour to 90 minutes. What I'm going to do, I'm going to basically do 2 episodes, and if there's anything I need to trim, I'll trim it out. Once again, not too much padding in this one. Well, not at all, hopefully, but if I have to add a little, I have to add a little, I'm afraid. There's a lot of characters we have to do, but these ones, with my funding, unfortunately, will take maybe 3 or 4 months to complete, because unfortunately, the cast are double paid for the Christmas special. I'll say unfortunately, not for them. They're double paid for the Christmas specials. So yeah, these could take 4 years. Not 4 years. 4 months, sorry, bloody hell. 4 months to complete. I don't want to make an episode longer than 90 minutes because people start losing interest and probably not come back to the show. So hopefully 90 minutes is a good enough run time. I will want to try to get it around maybe 1 hour 10 again, but we'll see. If I need to add more, then I'll add more, as long as you don't add padding. So yeah, with the season 1 part, season 1 I'm looking, like I said, pinch of salt, August 2026 for part 1, part 2 August 2027, and part 3 August 2028. And then hopefully, if we've got a good following, if I can start doing episodes on a more regular basis, getting them together like on a monthly basis, from then on all the shows should run together. I say together. All shows should be running until the mid-season finale, take a break, and then run for the final 18 episodes. That's the way I'm looking to do it. If you like that, let me know, but I can't bring it in 2026 as a full series, because the full series won't be created by then. I can't afford to get all the full series created by 2026, unfortunately, since I'm solely relying on my own money to fund it. If funding sources do come in like Patreon or Super Chats or anything like that, then yep, that'll help it move forward, and that'll also help it out come sooner. Sorry, I do get uncomfortable talking about the monetary aspects, I really do apologise. But it will have a 9-month gap in between, I'm afraid. I will try to bring things to you for that. You'll have to let me know what other extras you'd like, and I'll try to bring them. At the moment, I can only think of cast interviews, the reaction montages and outtakes. That's all I can think so far, unfortunately. See, you and the viewers are all important to me. Every single one of you are really, really important, and I do value your opinions and what you say in the comments, except don't say something like, "Get a real job." That does not help in the slightest. Tell me how many real jobs require such a huge investment, time and money. Tell me that. You know, it's the same as telling a developer, AAA or indie, to get a real job, in my opinion. You know, they're putting out bits on their YouTube to promote their channels, to promote their games. Yeah, that's the same as telling them to get a real job. And if you think otherwise, no, it is exactly the same. I'm creating something, they're creating something. So, yep, that doesn't help at all. I mean, if every creator on every platform got a real job, then there'd be no one on YouTube or any other equivalent services for you to watch. So, yep, telling me to get a real job is like telling a Let's Player to get a real job, or telling a how-to person to get a real job, a makeup expert to get a real job, a tips and advice channel to get a real job. Yep, I'm just doing exactly the same as they are. So if you enjoy, say, vidIQ or reaction channels or gaming channels, but you tell me to get a real job, you're telling them to get a real job, otherwise you're being a hypocrite, I'm afraid. To all those who think it is a real job, thank you so much, I love you, I honestly do. Anyway, I've got to rant again, I'm so sorry. I'm not expecting everyone to like this show, not at all. Different tastes for different genres, and like I said before, you've all got your own free will to enjoy what you want, and I can't change that. Neither would I want to. As long as you're not hurting anybody, there you go. You do you. You enjoy what you like to watch, or what you like to do. Just don't come in and say, "You're shit," and leave it at that, please. Thank you. Anyway, like I said, back on topic, enough of the rant. The main the main series will always end in the Halloween week. So it's not the mid-season specials, they're looking around a May mid-season break. But yeah, they will all end in Halloween week, as close to Halloween as I can get it, on a Friday. The Christmas special will always be live on Christmas Day. All shows and extras will go live at 9 PM. Well, they will eventually, as of now, because of I've got a lot of unlisted, because I've had to do a lot of linking to videos for auditions and things like that. They will be scheduled to go live at 9 PM. I do class these shows as 15, even though it has no visuals. The swearing will be bleeped out on YouTube, but it won't be bleeped out for Patreon members in the ad-free versions. I have to try and stick to monetization policies, and because the show's costing so much, yes, I do need to get it monetized, I honestly do. I'm not going to be one of those, though, that put an ad every 5 minutes. No, I want to do it like a proper show. The half-hour shows will have a pre-roll ad, a post-roll ad, and well, with the pre-roll ad, I might put it after the previously on the Purgatorians or pre-roll, I'm not entirely sure yet, but it will be in the middle of the show, like a TV show, 15 minutes in, not an American TV show, where you get one straight after the credits and then one in. Unless I like change it from the pre-roll to the after the intro. It will be like that. When it moves up to 45 minutes, once again, it will be like a TV show. There'll be 2 ads placed in every 15 minutes. Pre-roll, post-roll. and there might be 1 or 2 banner ads, but I'm not entirely sure yet. I do really have to get this monetized. I hope you can understand that. I know monetization should not be a goal for any channel whatsoever, but please, once again, I do beg of you to think of the cost of this show and how much money I've got. I beg of you, I honestly do. I am thinking of putting it on X and Facebook as well, but at the moment I'm not entirely sure. X has not been that good for me. I may do the previously on the Purgatorians things there. See how it goes. I don't get many impressions on X at all. I don't like it that much because of that. I get impressions when I reply to other people. I'm going on a rant again. I apologise. Yeah, so going back to the 9 o'clock thing, although this is not actual TV in a manner of sense, you know, like standard TV, I'm still sticking by the watershed rules we have here in the UK. Can't say too much about the anthologies, but these will happen either after the mid-season finale, or after the season finale, or after the Christmas special. It all depends on if something happens that warrants that, but I cannot put them earlier than if something happens, because it'll spoil that something. The first one will be Jamie's prequel episode, though, at some point between the season 1 Christmas special and the start of season 2. So, yep, his will be first. The main character, E, lets off a crucial plot moment, story moment, which will kind of allow these to start. Now, all extras will go live during the dates of the main seasons. At the moment, these are just cast interviews and outtakes. If there are others, things that you'd like to come as extra, please let us know and we'll look into it. We honestly will. You may wonder why I keep saying us and we. It's because I'm not in the mindset of I'm the boss, you're the paid help. No, I'm in the mindset of with a team, all of us are a team. Without me writing the scripts, there's no show. Without people auditioning, there's no show. Without cast, there's no show. We're all as equal and valuable as each other in this, and not one person in the cast, not me, not the musicians, not the singers, not the voice actors themselves, are better than any other or worse than any other. We're all equal, so yep, I like to think of it as a team. This was originally going to be called Serenity Solo Teamworks, this channel, but I decided to change it to Studios to see it as a larger project, but I was going to do it as Teamworks to begin with. Now, my biggest ambition, my end goal, I suppose you'd like, is to add realistic CGI to every episode. So it's a proper show, but that'll cost a fortune because I'll need serious funding to get it done. I mean, it's not cheap adding CGI to a show. You're looking about maybe a few thousand, 6,000 even, to get a 30-second CGI intro done. Now, it's going to cost a lot. If the show does exceptionally well, I will do this. I will put it on the channel, and I might not be able to put it on YouTube. I might have to wait in plus it if I put it on YouTube. I can't monetize it to get my money back. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I may try, but we'll see. Or I could sell them as DVDs, or set up a website and do it that way, or just give them to my Patreon members. Yeah, I think Patreon will be the best way to go, if I'm being honest. I would never be able to do a live action show. That would be beyond me. No matter how well the show does, I never think it'll do well enough to hire actual actors, cameramen and stuff like that and make it a proper show. It'd cost a hell of a lot more than CGI. I would never sell it outright though, only license it. I don't want to sell the property at all. I want to keep the property just in case I do ever want to return to it in the future, you know, a new land or something like that. Are you listening, rich producer person? Are you listening? Only licensing. No, you're not buying it. You can license it. I doubt any rich producer person will see this though. As I say though, 5 years, 5 seasons, 5 Christmas specials and at least 30 anthologies and a lot of extras. Even more if you suggest some good ones.
It is up to the boy to find the truth amongst lies, the trust amongst betrayal.
They normally get an allowance of warnings, maybe 9 or 10, before punishment is met.
Punishment? What kind of?
Shut up.
It happens after many years of happy marriage, my love. It just slips the mind.
Slips the mind? My arse! Get in there, now!
I will only agree on the basis that this is only temporary, and once your trial is over, if you come back here, you will be equal to the prisoners. Do you understand?
Stay away! Don't come near me! Everyone hurts me! Everyone spies on me! Everyone gossips about me! Everyone wants to kill me!
The truth must be uncovered by the citizens with no aid from those too knowledgeable. This could have dire consequences, and so the truth must be uncovered alone.
He stole the one thing that meant the most to me in this world, the one thing I could not live without, and he took it! He stole my heart!
I didn't want to be eaten because if I was, I couldn't make Mommy happy anymore.
That is, until this one night. Time would stop for these people forever.
I have to do everything. I cook, I clean, I make sure you're clean, well fed, and as healthy as possible. And what do you give me in return? Nothing but worry.
Mommy, you're holding me.
Don't you dare speak back to me.
Well, I've given you a lot of information there. If anything changes with funding or any other news occurs, I'll post another Director's podcast. If there's something you'd like me to talk about in the next one, please let me know and I shall take notes for it and see what I can do, without giving any spoilers, that is. Don't ask me to talk about the whole plot or storylines or anything like that. Nope. Anyway, this video's been going on far too long now. I doubt anyone will watch it, and even if they do, they'll most possibly not even get this far. Please remember though, there is a watch later thing, so if you do watch it and you can't watch it all, add it to watch later if you're interested in any news or anything like that. I do beg of you, and return to it later on. Like I say, we need a lot of subscribers. I'm not talking millions upon millions here, but I mean enough to meet the thresholds. We need the watch time. So please, if you don't want to fund us on Patreon, please help us out immensely on YouTube. And if you have got this far, please let me know in the comments below. I'd be very interested to know. As I say though, if you did like it and if it was of any interest to you, or you're now intrigued about the audio drama and you don't want to support the show on Patreon, once again, free will, please consider subscribing to us to let us know people want it to come. Give it a like so I know people are interested in these podcasts, and answer any questions I've asked you in the comments below. As I said, I would absolutely love to read them, especially if you're interested in the show coming up. With that, I shall end the podcast and hope to see you in a future one, or the previews, or the cast interviews, or the first episode, or all of the above. Please say all of the above. I beg of you to use all of the above. But anyway, thank you so much for taking your time to listen to me. I really do appreciate it. I really appreciate you listening to rambling on. I hope you enjoyed some of the background music to it. Some of it will be in the show, some of it won't. The titles in the main show, I'm hoping to get a different one. This is for YouTube. A different one per episode. So not really a main theme, but a main theme will be added to the Patreon ones to cover this, and a different song for the credits. But anyway, I thank you for tuning in. I especially thank you if you've made it this far. I incredibly, exceptionally thank you if you've subscribed and commented and liked. Thank you ever so much for that. So until next time, thanks for watching. Goodbye.
I am what I am. I don't want praise. I don't want pity. I bang my own drum. Some think it's noise. I think it's pretty. And so what if I love each sparkle and each bangle? Why not try to see things from a different angle? Your life is a sham till you can shout out, I am what I am. I am what I am, and a shout.